it's a gross violation of the 14th Amendment. This law is vague. Like even at the preliminary injunction hearing, the state couldn't define what this law is themselves, and it's obviously vague, and it's scary to have these vague laws because we cannot be in a situation where it could potentially be used against people.
Right, because of that historical, because of that history of disarmament, in previous generations.
Correct. It's also a trend throughout the world, and not only in Germany. Other countries have similar trends.
Right. But so this letter that you sent also mentioned, it's a specific threat that was the FBI had been warning about at the time as example of the kinds of unique challenges that the Jewish population faces, right?
Correct. Yeah. So basically what happened was there's a different case, I think, in the Western District with a very similar case for a pastor and a reverend. I think it's the Western District. I think it's the Hardaway case.
Yes.
I'm not sure exact. Yeah.
Right.
So they got their preliminary injunction granted, and at the same time, I think the same day, the FBI in Newark, their Newark office gave out like a bulletin to a specific threat to synagogues. Now, I live in Muncie, New York. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago on Hanukkah, there was a machete attack in a rabbi's house while they were celebrating the Hanukkah, and that individual came from Newark. From New Jersey, crossed over into Muncie, and our local police department gave out a bulletin on Twitter and Facebook as well that we should all heighten our security posture. So that put us even further in a bind, and my phone kept on ringing. Said, "Svi, what should we do? Can we carry? Shouldn't we?" So our lawyers decided to do what they have to do. I mean, they represent us, and they couldn't give us an answer in what we should do. So they just sent a letter to the judge asking him to give an answer.
Right. But he hasn't actually acted since you guys sent that letter.
Not yet. It's very frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because didn't the NYPD issued a warning to the entire Jewish population in New York about these security threats and how they need to, be reticent about the threats and be able to potentially defend themselves. But at the same time, it's a crime to carry, even if you're licensed, even if you've gone through the process of showing that you're a law-abiding citizen. It's still a crime to carry in a place of worship, which is obviously a specific target for anti-Semitic violence, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, obviously I'm not Jewish, but I read the news and it's
100%.
It's pretty clear where these threats are directed.
And not only that, this law also, if you are an individual and you're even an armed guard, meaning you got the New York State license and the training and the certificate to be an armed guard, you are not allowed to be hired by the synagogue independently. So They have to do it through a company. Now, if you do it through a company, the costs go up for the synagogue, right? So a lot of people in my community, the synagogue wanted a structured system. They didn't want just people to randomly carry. They wanted to have some type of training. So they said, okay, if you want to train, let's get 5-6 people. We'll put you through the armed guard program, and you'll get the licenses. And then the synagogue will hire you independently for very, very cheap. Some even volunteer, but there's some type of structure in this, and they can get insurance. They were able to get insurance through their policy from the house of worship, from the building, and it worked out. But under this new law, they can't even hire independent security contractors, meaning independently. You can hire a company, but it can cost $1,500 just for the Shabbat, just for the weekend services. And not all synagogues are able to afford, because on the Sabbath, we're not allowed to drive or use any electronics. So we have like these little synagogues all around the neighborhood with like 20, 30 people that are with walking distances of people's houses. And these synagogues usually run on a shoestring budget. So it's not even so they didn't even have the ability to hire like a full-fledged security company, to send them people. In terms of a threat to the community, yes, I mean, anti-Semitism is on the rise. On top of them, like, crime is on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
And all the noise from social media, from the celebrities that are busy bashing, it doesn't help. It just convolutes and confuses the situation. And also like the cancel culture, like the minute somebody comes out and says something against everybody, everybody gets all wild up and they get canceled. It doesn't help the situation either. It just makes more noise. It just, motivates more people to do stuff on both sides. It's not good. So yeah, and on top of that, we're in a situation where the Supreme Court gave a very clear ruling, and like New York State, out of spite, decided to go against it.